everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everyone for coming back to my channel, and if you're listening in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. It is Tuesday, November 28, 2023. This story that I'm going to share with you right now happened, I believe it was late last week. um but I've been thinking about it. I'm like, I cannot believe this actually happened. Okay, this happened in my native country of the Dominican Republic, and it happened. They recently have been getting a lot of torrential rain, and in the capital, Santo Domingo, and a wall of part of a tunnel structure there in the capital. So it's a very modern city over there in the Dominican Republic. A wall collapsed due to the massive rain amounts that they've been getting, and it actually killed 9 people. Okay, and like I told you, everyone, when you come and listen to my videos or watch the videos on YouTube, I'm always telling you how life is so unpredictable, right? We really need to get right with Jesus, because we don't know what could happen, right? We think, we see how the world is right now, and we're like, oh, that happening overseas, the stuff that's happening in Israel, we think to ourselves, that's so far away from us. Yeah, we do get in our cars every day and we go out and travel, we leave our homes, and we're so vulnerable. Life is so vulnerable, right? We really don't know when our time is gonna be, right? This family, I believe they were all part of a big family, right? um they were going to the Dominican Republic for vacation, right? They didn't even had, the last thing that they in their mind was that they were gonna pass through this tunnel, right? Probably didn't even think that so much rain was expected. I think this whole storm that happened there last week happened by surprise, right? And the way it accumulated so fast. I mean, I've seen so many videos coming from my country, the Dominican Republic, of people just dealing with the massive flooding that happened within an hour. Like, it was just, streets were filled. And people can say, the Dominican Republic, it's not a very well developed country, right? I'm saying some people might just say that, right? But I'm talking about the capital of the Dominican Republic, a very well developed city, very modern. And for something like this to happen, it's very shocking, and that tells you that it can happen anywhere, right? And what I'm saying about the whole family that was involved in this accident is just that they were going there for vacation to celebrate somebody's birthday, right? The week of Thanksgiving, and they're leaving the airport, right? The Avenue of the Americas is this the avenue that you take to go to the main airport over there in the Dominican Republic, the city, right? In the capital, I mean. So I have gone through that when I was living there, growing up in the Dominican Republic, when we went to the airport to pick up family members, or people just coming to visit us and things like that. I remember going through that street and to that avenue and seeing, how beautiful it was. I love it because it was a very long ride, and going there and seeing like the ocean. And once you get closer to the airport, you see a lot of the flags, international flags, and I love seeing that. One of the beautiful things that I remember growing up in the Dominican Republic was that ride to the airport to pick up family members that came to visit, right? So these people left the airport and they encountered this massive storm on their way to their destination. Punta Cana is a very popular vacation place over there. I'm sure a lot of people, know about that place, right? It's so popular. I think a lot of people go there for vacation yearly, and some people actually they own properties there because it's so beautiful, right? So they left, they get ready to come to this country, and to, like I said, to celebrate somebody's birthday, and then they leave they get there safely, right? Because getting in an airplane is a whole ordeal, right? They get there safely, and then they leave the airport to their destination, and then they encounter this massive storm, and they're going near the tunnel, and the wall, kind of like separating. You know how the tunnels right before you enter a tunnel. It's like a separation. You slide down, like there's a road that slides down to enter you to the tunnel, and then you see like the top of it, you see cars going on above, right, the regular street. So they're getting ready to pass through this, and then the streets are flooded and all of that, and then this wall collapses on top of their car, killing all of them, right? And you see videos. That's the thing about this, right? Because everybody is always recording, right? There's always somebody with the phone recording, and then you see videos and you see people like passing by. They're dealing with themselves with the flooding of it, right? And then you see people trying to say, come and help, there's people trapping here. Like, how do you get there? It's completely back to back, bumper to bumper traffic because of the massive storm, right? And then they see this wall collapse, and they're telling the people on the other street, saying stop the traffic, because as the cars are passing by, more water is coming down on top of this concrete wall that just collapsed on top of all these cars that we know there are people trapped in there, obviously, right? And they're like, how are you going to stop traffic? Everybody's here. It's basically trying to get away from this rain. It's back-to-back traffic. I know in the capital it's really bad. Driving is really bad. Remember that from living there. Not because I was driving. I was so young to even get a license when I was living there. But I remember a lot of the times just being scared driving in a taxi or driving with like family members, because it was just chaotic, right? Just the way people drive over there, it's kind of like similar to New York, but probably worse, I think. From what I remember, it could have changed, right? So they're like, how are we gonna help these people? I know there's people trapped in there, and it is so sad. And it goes to show you, this is the whole reason, to honor the family. That's the reason that I'm making this video, and to kind of tell you, we really don't know. We plan our days, but we really don't know what could happen. God knows everything about our life, and God, just as we don't know when we're gonna be born, we don't know when it will be our last day, right? And we take it so lightly, specifically the people that don't know Christ, the people that don't have a personal relationship with Jesus. They take it so lightly. They might say, I'm too young, or like, I seen it all, I believe in it, and I don't want to deal with that yet. We really don't know. We really don't know what could happen. These people that got killed here, the last thing from in their mind, going through the Caribbean, probably paying so much for hotel, couldn't wait probably to get to the hotel and see the water, the ocean, and get all of this benefits from being on vacation and going to a different country and all of that, and celebrating with family. And then they're no longer here, and that's how it is. The Bible says, that verse in the Bible, it just flew off my mind just now, how life is a vapor, right? It just goes so fast, and we really don't know, right? So let me read to you guys more detail of what actually happened here. It says here, a concrete wall along an avenue in the Dominican Republic capital that collapsed over the weekend and killed 9 people during heavy rain was poorly designed, experts said on Monday, right? So like I said, this was not like a hurricane that everybody was expecting that it will come, and they're shutting down highways, but everybody, what happens here when we're prepping for a storm, right? People go grocery shopping, like we know in advance that it's coming. The thing that happened with this storm was that it was just so unexpected, and it accumulated so much rain so quick, so it made a lot of damage, right? I know the biggest impact was this wall collapsing, killing 9 people, but a lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people they'll be like losing like their businesses because the water got in their establishment. So it says here, the government of the Caribbean country has come under scrutiny, with experts saying that they have warned more than 20 years ago about the wall failures, and lack of effort to fix them. So this is the thing now, because now they say they already warned the government about this wall, right? How it was built, how it needed to be fixed again. 20 years ago they saying they warned about this wall, right? So crazy, because the sirens are going off here in my town, but um I'm sure you can probably hear them, but it's just so crazy how when you have people telling you, take care of this. It's almost like when you go check on your car and you're like, I don't know, like, do I want to spend money on that? Sometimes you have to just listen to what the experts tell you. People who do that every day, that's their expertise, and get that advice and take care of it, right? So now I was actually watching an interview about some of the family members saying how they're being pressured to sue the government for what happened, right? And they're saying, suing the government, they say, it's not really going to bring my family members back. It's actually going to make our grief even longer. And I completely understand. And I think I was actually surprised to see that, because people always want to point fault at something, right? We're so quick to point fault. And yes, they're saying they were warned and all of that, but like it's been like a week and they're already pressuring the families to sue the government. Like, these people, they just went through such a dramatic thing, right? So unexpected. And I gotta say, one of the people that got killed, she was pregnant, and she was so happy to, their first child. And they say, they didn't even know that she was gonna have a baby girl, right? So they lost their child too. And now they're going and pressuring the family, saying, you gotta sue the government, you gotta get money for this. They knew about the structural damage and all of that. It's just like, let these people at least go through the whole grief, right? The alarms are going off crazy here, but let me continue to read here what it says. Um, it has weakness in design. Civil engineer Christian Rojas told the news channel no anchors were placed, and that's why the wall collapsed. Um, Rojas, former president of the Dominican College of Engineers and Architects and Surveyors, said the force of the water in a flooded adjacent avenue, combined with the type of wall that was built, led to the collapse. Dominican geologist Osiris de Leon recalled that the first warning about the wall were made more than 2 decades ago. He posted a story from December 1999 saying that in 1999 they warned the government over there, right? Whoever was in government, they're saying, you gotta fix this because it wasn't built right. And that's the thing, a lot of the times, they're like, oh yeah, they told me about that like 20 years ago, like nothing has happened. They're risking people's life by not fixing it in that moment, right? Like, why would you train people to go to engineering class, right? And then go and examine the bridges and the tunnels and all of that, and then when they give you their report, you're like, okay, yeah, whatever, like we're not even going to listen to that, right? That's such a negligence of the government, right? So I can understand why some people believe that they should sue the government. I get that, but I still think it's too soon for even the families to kind of like, hey, put the grief aside and get a lawyer and start suing people because of what happened. Like, let these people have their grieving moment. This is too sudden. It's like December starts in 2 days, right? So it's hard. These people were expecting a baby too. Recently married, just the late one of the women was pregnant, like I said. Like, it's shocking. They were coming to the Dominican Republic to celebrate somebody's birthday. Let the family deal with the grief, right? Um, Let me continue to say here. The collapse occurred Saturday in Santo Domingo when a portion of the wall that runs along the heavily transited 27 of February Avenue fell in one place, crushing cars and their occupants, authorities say. Among the victims was Puerto Rican prosecutor Michael Orozco, his wife Maria Nereida Martinez, and his in-laws, according to Javier Rivera, president of the Islands Association. And they said that Martinez was pregnant. Like I told you guys, that's her name. Maria Nereida Martinez was the one that was pregnant with the baby girl, and they said they didn't even know. Like the couple didn't know it was gonna be a baby girl. Comrade Orozco was living wonderful personal moment with his family, and as a young committed lawyer, a promising future awaited him, they say. Also killed was Dominican Police General Eduardo Cabrera Castillo. Andres Matos, the ministry poll reports rejected accusations that the government did not properly maintain the wall and nearby infrastructure. These tunnels and overpasses are given permanent maintenance. He attributed the collapse to other causes but declined to provide details. It is so, I just thought about this, it is so shocking because February 27th Avenue over there is so popular. Like I remember going through that avenue so many times. That's not even the road that leads you to the airport, the one that I was mentioning earlier, but I remember that street is so popular, and I'm thinking, how ironic is it that the people that die in this collapse are tourists? They're not even locals, because it was them that came from Puerto Rico, and then I think it was also a Haitian couple that also got killed in this whole ordeal over there. That's so ironic to me that it took away tourists. It didn't even take away locals, even though that's such a transited street over there. And please excuse my mispronunciation, but it is so crazy. It's so crazy. Because I'm sure like the locals will be like, I go through that all the time. And one day there was a hurricane, and I went through that road, and everything seemed fine and normal, everything operating the same. And then it takes these tourists by surprise, right? You have to think about it. Like I was thinking, like, why would they get, to look at all the footage that came from that flooding that happened? I was thinking to myself, like, wait a second, if that would have been me, like, I know not to drive in a lot of waters, like I know that, so I would have probably told my taxi to, is it safe to go? But then again, you just came in an airplane, you want to get to the hotel. The ride from the capital to Punta Cana is very far. I think it's like 2 hours, probably longer. So I just want to get to my destination. This rain started coming so unexpected, but then what a tragic that you get stuck in this thing and you don't even have, you're not from the area. That's not your town, right? That's not your country. You're just a tourist, kind of like going along with what they tell you, and you don't even have the, be like, okay, well, they know what they're doing, so if they seen, maybe they say, they seen this rain all the time. But the traffic in the Dominican Republic, the capital, that's where I'm from, Santo Domingo, is very bad as it is. Imagine during this rainstorm, it was bumper to bumper, like you're going nowhere. And you think about what they probably were seeing, like all this flood and then all this rain coming down. And now that I'm just thinking about it, I remember when I first came to this country, I don't know what year it was, but I came to visit my dad in New York, and I was mesmerized. My dad will take us on the highway, just driving by, going, he's like, okay, let's go now to New Jersey so you guys can see what New Jersey looks like, going from the Bronx to like New Jersey. And I will always be looking out the window because I love New York immediately. The minute I came, I mean, I will be like dreaming about it, living in the Dominican Republic, and I often will watch like channels in English because I was so fascinated with this country. So I remember just on the rides that my dad would be like, okay, let's go out so you guys can see the city and things like that. And I remember looking and I'm thinking to myself, why is so much ice? You know, see how you see like the structure when you're like on a high, when you see the structure, it's like deep in the winter, maybe like February. Like, yeah, we came in February. I remember me and my sister, and we see all the ice like stuck in the walls and the structures, right, going by the highway. And I'm like, wow, it's so cold outside that the water is freezing, and you can see it like frozen, up in the kind of like the mountains, but in the structure that you see in the highway. And I was so mesmerized by that. So I was just thinking about that, not being from the area, seeing everything new. These people in this car, right, they just got off a plane. They cannot wait to get to their destination. They come into a Caribbean city and then they encounter all this rain, right? And it's like, it's just overwhelming. And then the traffic, I'm sure it was craziness, because even if they probably decided, they were too deep into traffic to even stop. And where would they stop, right? Like, I know they're following what the driver is saying, right? I cannot imagine what probably went through their minds, seeing all this rain, not being from the area and all of that stuff. So it really tells you how vulnerable we are in life, right? We make all these plans. We think, oh yeah, but this month, a lot of people are planning 2024 this now, right? We have so many dreams and goals, and nothing wrong with that. I'm very ambitious too. I have a lot of goals and things like that. And faith, we know faith without works is dead. But at the end of the day, guys, what's gonna matter the most is who, like, do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? Because we really don't know when our last day is gonna be, right? And just as I finish here talking about this thing that happened over there, please keep the family in prayer. Everybody wants to speak with them, they want to do interviews. They still, it happened like a week ago. These people are dealing with grief, so I think they should give them respect and just pray for them. One thing I gotta say though, that it really filled my heart with joy just doing research about this story, was that one of the ladies that was in this car that died that day, there is a video of her preaching at a church. So when you see that, the way she's talking about God and Jesus, like when you see things like that, you're like, she went from this wall collapse to to opening her eyes in front of Jesus. So that's it. Like that's the promises of God. That's the promises of God, and thank God for that. To see her preaching at a church, at a women's conference, and her being so devoted to sharing the gospel and talking about Jesus, and the way she's, people talk about her, how she was like always talking about faith in God, and they see how her resilience and all of that, going through life's troubles and things like that, and basically talking about her testimony. To see that after learning what she went through, this ordeal over there in the Dominican Republic, and to know that she is a believer in Jesus, and she's so, she was so devoted to sharing the gospel. Like it fills me with joy. This sad story turned into joy for me, and I'm so thankful for that. And that's what life is all about. At the end of the day, we come here with nothing, we live with nothing. The only thing that we can take with us is our relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's what's gonna matter the most at the end. At the end, and the beginning of our eternity with Jesus. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel and for listening in the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless. everybody, this is Julissa. I'm here to invite you to my podcast, Julissadesigns, and it can be found on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can join me every day as I make episodes of the latest news, real life stories, and I also share my favorite Bible verse. Hope to see you then. God bless. Everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you want to know more about me, you can always visit www.julissadesigns.com. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.